Hi guys, very good morning to you. Welcome to the video number 188, and in this video I'm actually going to talk about the VBA, the questions which you are definitely going to come across, while giving the VBA interviews. And you can see that I have written some questions here, and these are the questions which we are going to discuss today, because I know that a lot of you have always demanded that you need some more videos on the Excel interviews and the VBA interviews, and what questions basically people ask, and some of them are my personal favorite questions. And so these are the questions which definitely are going to be asked. I can't say that every question, but yes, couple of questions like what is the use of option explicit. This is my personal favorite question because this actually is very close to the fundamentals of your VBA programming. If you can't answer this, I think I will not be impressed with you. No matter how good you are in the programming, you can write the programs by taking the help of the Google or the YouTube videos, or maybe you read some books and you can actually make a very good programs. That's fine, right? A good programmer doesn't mean that you're able to make any kind of a program by taking the outside help like Google or whatever. I think the good programmer is a good programmer if he knows the concept. If you can answer me, if you can satisfy my if I'm asking you something is troubling me and I want the clear answer from you, and if you can give me the answer which can actually make my concepts clear and which can really help me in developing my tools further. If I get some errors and I come to you and I say that look, I am getting this error, without even going and checking my VBA code, you can with the help of the error, you can directly let me know that look, this is something you must be doing wrong, right? So I believe that fundamentals are to be very strong. So this video I'm recording today in keeping mind of all of you who are the basic VBA, who are on the basic side, who just know the basic of the VBA, or who might be on the intermediate side, or who really know they know that they actually know a very good VBA. They are the advanced VBA user. But obviously if you are looking for some job change, or if you want to make your career in analytics field, you always need to prepare yourself. So welcome to the video number 188, and before I start, I just want to take your 15-20 seconds. I just woke up in the morning, and today I'm very happy to see that we have actually crossed our 400 subscribers list. And trust me, I was actually immensely very pleased to see this, because we have covered the 400 list. And the last month, August month, I got around 50, I think 55 subscribers added in a single month, right? And it may not be special for anyone, because people get a lot of subscribers, but it was actually very special to me, and I want to share this. I want to thank you a lot for your continued support, because August month was the in terms of the adding the subscribers, it was a very special month, because I never actually ever since I'm running this channel, never got to have these many subscribers. So adding 50 plus subscribers in a month was really an achievement. So thank you so much for this, and this means that you guys really love this channel, and this pushes me. Every time I record a video, I intend to make it as awesome as I can, so that whenever you watch it, you can actually take the benefit out of it. You should be my attempt is always to make the videos which not just only clear your concepts, but at the same time you should be able to use them in your office also, right? So this is the playlist I have created. If you're watching this video for the first time, you are welcome to my channel. Let me just walk you through all the playlists which I have created. These are all the playlists where you can go and you can find out a lot of videos. Now the video which I'm going to upload right away, which is on the Excel VBA, it's actually in the VBA, but you can go and click on this Excel VBA interview questions, and here you can watch all these videos. And these are videos which are again intend to we made these videos in an attempt that when you watch them, that you should be able to clear the interviews. You should be able to understand, all right, so what questions basically people ask, right, in interview. So this video is totally dedicated to the VBA one, and let's start this. And I'm going to start, I'm not going to give you any any lecture. We're going to start it with really good examples so that you can also understand it, right? So the first question, which is definitely going to be asked if I'm going to take the interview, this is the first question I will definitely ask you, that what is the use of the option explicit, right? Why do we use it? How we can actually on it if it is not available on your developer tab. So let me show you what exactly it means. And trust me, I have seen a lot of people, even in my training, I get students, who come and they say that you always write the option explicit, but I can even, I have seen some codes where people don't actually use it, but they are still able to run the program. So I'm going to discuss everything, that what are the disadvantages basically. In fact, there is no advantage of not using the option explicit. You can see that it's always on my top. Now when you insert the module, it may not show up here, right? It may be a blank. So what you need to do is, you need to go to the tools and you need to click here on the VBA project properties. I beg your pardon, it's not the VBA project properties, it's actually the tools and the options. So here this is unchecked. For you this would be unchecked if you don't see this option explicit coming by default. So you need to check mark this, just on it and click OK. So in the current module it may not come, but when you're going to insert a new module, it will show up there by default, right? And for the current module where you don't see that, you can simply write also, that's fine. You can write it option explicit. If your spellings are correct, the moment you press enter, automatically it changes itself to the that the way it is used, like the first letter is in the uppercase and the next letters they are in the lowercase. Now what is it? Is it mandatory to use it? I would say yes, it is mandatory, but in a way, I mean, if you ask me that technically will the program not run if you don't write it, I would say that program can run, but it may give you the wrong results. So let us see what exactly I'm talking about, right? So to understand this, let me write here a very simple example. Let me just name this sub called A. Now you see, I'm going to declare here a variable called I as integer, okay? And one more variable we're going to declare as I as integer, and one more K as integer. And let's say I want to sum them, then my sum as integer, okay? Now what you're doing is, you want to give some values here. Let's say I equals to 10, then j equals to 1, and k equals to, let's say 2, and my sum equals to is your I plus j plus k, okay? So now look at this, what is going to happen? Let's say we want to get this message box, or maybe you can get this value printed in your Excel also, that's fine. I'm just trying to clear the concept. Now look at this. When you're going to run this program, I did some things, some mistakes. You know that kk is a variable. You might have not even paid attention here, but this is for you. And if you know that I have done this type of mistake, then great. That means you're actually listening me. You're seeing that what is happening, right? Very good. So you see here that I haven't declared this variable kk. It's an actual typo mistake. Sometimes it happens when you are in hurry and you're writing the program, you are under huge pressure, you tend to do some typo mistakes. And because of I wanted to use the k, but instead of using the k, I used this kk, right? And now I'm just going forward. I'm just writing my program. Never realized that I have actually used kk, which I never declared, right? So what are the consequences? Now when you're going to run this program, right, keeping the fact that you have actually your option explicit on, right? So now if I'm going to run this program using the F8 mode, let me just show you. The moment you run this, you get to see that variable not defined. So option explicit is going to take care of all the things. So any variable which you are using, which you have assigned a value and it is not declared, you will not be able to use it. And that's the check. So when I'm going to run this, I will immediately see, oh, my goodness, I think it should have been only k. So now I'm going to run the program again. Now it is again going to give me the error, variable not defined. Which variable? Now it has highlighted. So you see that here also I have done the typo mistake. So my sum, actually I am writing here double m. So it should be my sum, because this is what I have declared here. So now when I'm going to run this, you see that I will get the correct value, which is 13, right? So if you don't write the option explicit, then what will happen? Because people write the program like this, I think, a lot of guys are not even aware that how to on this option. So you need to go to the tools and option, and this is where you need to check mark this require variable declaration. Once you on it, you will never have to on it again. It will always be there. Now you see guys, this is very important. Now I don't have written here option explicit, so I'm going to change here again the same thing. I'm going to make it here kk. Now you see the answer should come as 10 plus 1 plus 2, which is 13, right? So let's just run this. First, it did not give me any error. Why? Because option explicit is not declared. So if it is not declared, then that means that VBA will create all these variables. KK is also a variable for VBA. I can show you right away here. I can click on the view and the local window, and if you look at here in this local window, let me just put it here. You see that we're getting the list of these variables. So there is a one more variable kk, which is empty, right? So when you're going to run this in the my sum, this I gets its value 10 and j is 1, and this is kk is empty. So your answer would come as 11 and not 13. So the program runs, right? There is no error. So if you're not going to see this carefully while using the debug tool, which is F8, I mean we run the code step by step using F8 key to ensure that the code is working correct. Now when you're going to run this, you would never even see that there is an error. And when we don't have error, we generally have the tendency that everything will be correct, right? And we send it across to teams, and then they're going to use it, and at some point in time definitely they will realize that the values are not coming correct, and they come back to you, right? And that can put you in a very trouble situation. I don't have to say that, but it happens, right? It's a personal experience actually. So you should always be very careful with the numbers. So that is why we use the option explicit. Any variable which VBA see that it is not declared, you cannot use it, right? So that is why I always love to declare this option explicit. Now look at this option explicit. The moment I declared it on the top, now when I'm going to run this, let me just come here. Look at this, variable not defined. So kk variable is not defined, gentlemen. Please go back and check your code. If it has to be declared, please declare here, okay? If it doesn't have to be declared, then check that what actually you wanted to declare and where you're doing the mistake. So I'm gonna quickly come back and going to clear it. Now when I run this program, it is going to give me the correct value, right? And one more thing, if you declare one variable, let's say more than 2 times, let me just run this. Now if I'm going to run this, duplicate declaration in the current scope, so it will never allow you to move forward, because it clearly says that that this variable is already declared. So I'm going to delete this. So this is the purpose of the option explicit. Very useful. It can save you from the errors, and I guess the best way to do it is always keep this option on, in the tools and the options. So I hope you understood this concept, but still I would like to hear from you. If you have any questions, you can write. Let's go ahead and let us see what is the another question. Now option based is a question which is a very rare question, but a person of when you're actually going to give the interview and the company expects you are supposed to know each and everything. After all, they're going to give you a very good the package. So definitely this question comes. Now I'm a big fan of arrays. If you know me, if you have seen my all the videos 187, then you know that in most of the videos I have always talked about them. I have a huge love for them. I mean whether it is in Excel or whether it is in VBA, both works different, but this a tremendous amount of I would say that the scope of inventing a lot of incredible things using arrays, right? So anyways, if you don't know, then you can go here and you can find out this playlist arrays most powerful, just click on this on my channel and you would see here a lot of videos on the arrays, and trust me, you will just fall in love with them. They are very difficult to understand, I understand, but you know, they are difficult, but once you have your concepts clear, then it's not really so difficult, but they can give you tremendous results. And yes, I can also tell you that there is also a website which is excelvbalover.com. There also I have a lot of VBA videos on the arrays, and you can go to the tutorial section. In the VBA video tutorial section, you would find all these videos here. Let me just show you. Yeah, arrays example. So you can watch all these videos. They are all the VBA videos, right? Okay, let's come back to the topic. And now let me go to the next question. What is option based? So option based, actually we use it for the arrays, right? If you guys know arrays, then this video you will understand this. If you don't know it, still you can watch and go back to the arrays videos, and you would see there that why we actually use it. Now look at this. I'm going to write here another sub. Now here I'm going to declare a array. So let's say we'll declare here my array. And I'm going to say here at 5 as variant. Now what does that mean? That means that I'm going to create an array which is going to absorb 5 values. Okay, so when I run this, first of all, let us put the watch on this, add watch. Now here we have our array. Let me put it here. Okay, now let's just run this. The moment I run this, you see that I can see here the plus sign. I need to click here and there we go. So basically what it means that you can have the 5 numbers. The place is there now. You can insert the 5 elements here. Now if you see that it starts actually with the 0 index. So eventually I written here 5, but it's creating 6 places for me. It's giving the 6 positions where I can use it, right? 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So that means that my array, because it starts with 0, it is actually going to give me the 6 places, 6 positions. So if I need to have the 5 positions only, then I will have to keep it 4 because it starts with the 0 index, right? So the moment we are going to run this back, you see that now it's coming 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, right? So we can use this. For example, I can say that my array, the 0 position is going to be, let's say, equals to hello, and then let me quickly copy it. I'm going to fill these numbers very quickly for you. Okay, so this is, let's say, hello 1, this is hello 2, this is hello 3, and this is hello 4. Okay, alright, so this is the index number. We are going to change this index number. So this is going to be 2, this is going to be 1, this is 3, and this is 4. Okay, now let me run this back. I want to show you actually how the array works, how you get the values. So the moment you run this, now look at this. The first index is going to be filled with hello. You can see here I'm pressing F8. Now you have hello 1, hello 2, hello 3, and this is how you can use this value somewhere in the code. Now how to use that, that's a different altogether question. For that you can go back and you can see all my array videos there. And I will create the playlist on my YouTube channel also, I think under arrays. I think I haven't created actually the playlist for the VBA. They are all, I think, the Excel videos. So I'll take a look, and if it is not there, then I'll create the list saying that VBA arrays, right? But otherwise you can go to the website also, and okay, all right, we got in there. Yeah, we got in there. I was just thinking that how I missed that. All right, so these are basically the array videos. Anyways, so let's come back and let me just run this F8. Now look at this. Now, some people have a lot of confusion. They don't like the idea that, the arrays start with the 0, because it gives them a little confusion. They're not comfortable. They want to start it with the 1. So if I'm saying 4, then it should not mean that, it is going to give me from the 0 to 4, which means 5. I want that it should be 4. If I'm writing 4, then it should actually be 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. And that's it, So in order to do that, if you're fond of that thing, then you can use the option base here. Okay, it's option base 1. Press enter. I beg your pardon. Let me see what's wrong with this. Yeah, option base. Let me just run the code. There is some spelling mistakes we are doing. Let me rewrite it. Option base 1. Yeah, I think we were not inserting the space between base and 1. Anyways, okay, so now I got this option base 1. It has nothing to do with the option explicit, remember, right? Option explicit, it's a separate chapter. I told you the reason why we should use it, right? If you want to be a good programmer, you should use it to avoid the errors. Now option base 1 is specially meant for the arrays. Now when I'm going to run this, look at this, what will happen. Let me expand this. Alright, there we go. Now you see that there is no array having a position 0 because you have written option base 1 on the top, and this is just a one-time declaration you will have to add. And for this entire module, in any of this module 8, whatever you're going to write, any macro, any subroutine you're going to write, it will be your arrays. If you're dealing with the arrays, it will always start with the first position. So now when I'm going to run this, obviously you would see the error called the subscript out of a range. Subscript out of a range always comes when you have asked VBA to find out something which actually VBA is not able to find it out. So you know that VBA it will not be able to find the 0 because it's not there. Now it starts with 1, right? So now when I'm going to run this, it will go to this 1 position, 2nd position, 3rd position and 4th position. So from the technical aspect, option base 1, writing it or not writing it is not going to really impact. The code will work as it is in both the ways, it will work the same. But yes, it is just that how in which particular category you feel comfortable. Like when I learned the VBA long time back, I never knew about the option base 1. So I'm now comfortable with the 0 index, right? I know that array starts with the 0. But if you're new and if you don't want to use that, you can always clear this option base 1, right? So that's the second question. Now let's go to the next question, which is what are the various data types used in VBA. Now this is a very generic question. One must know it because this is something which I would definitely ask you, right? So what are the various data types used in VBA? So you can tell that we have a data types like byte, we have a data type called integer, we have a long, we have a single, we have a double, and then we have a string, we have an object, we have a variant. So this is kind of a the way you can start. And if they ask you that, so all right, so what are the similarities, what are the dissimilarities, tell us more about it, then basically no one in the interview would expect you to remember their range, that what values they can hold. For example, if you see the byte, then byte holds only 0 to 255 number. If you are using somewhere a number which is not within this range, then you will get the error. Now to explain you, let me just quickly walk you through this. Let's just insert the one more module. So this is basically we are talking about the variables, how you define them and how important it is for us to declare the correct data type. Now look at this. Let me just quickly create this one sub. Always give some meaningful name. I'm just actually writing DDAB, so pardon me for that. I don't generally do that. I always give the good name, but basically intention is to give the clarity on the subject today. So I think the macro name is not so important. So I'm going to declare here, let's say I as byte, and let's say dim j as byte, and dim k as byte. Okay, and I declared I here as 55, j as equals to 10. And I'm going to write here k equals to I plus j. So now that when I'm going to run this, you will see the answer as 55 plus 10, which is 65. So let's just run this, and I can on this window as well, though it is not required, but let's just quickly have a look on the local window. So you see here that the byte is declared by the VBA, perfect, and I got the values 55, 10 and 65. So k is working very fine, right? But the moment I change this to let's say I'm going to make this 600. Okay, now let us run this. The moment you run this j equals to 600, if you look at your local window again, local window is the window where you can see the variables, how actually they are, what values they are getting when you're running the code. So here the j has a data type called byte. Can it actually, is it able to absorb this 600? Let's just run this. Look at this overflow. Overflow means that you're using something which is not in the capacity of this data type, byte, right? So I said in the beginning that byte can hold only up to 255 numbers. So 600 is out of the reach. So you can't use that, right? So if you have a value which is higher than 0 to 55, then you would like to change this j to the next data type, which is integer, right? Because integer can hold around, I think, 32,700 something. That's a value. I'll just tell you where to find all these things. You need not to remember it, right? You just need to know the concept that how actually they work. Now when I'm going to run this, look at this again. Here I got the error again. Why? Because k is declared as byte and k can't hold a value greater than 255. So when you're adding 600 plus 5, obviously k would going to hold a value which is actually larger than this 255. So in that case I'll have to change my k as well into the integer. Okay, so let me just reset it and let us just now run the code, and you can see here the k is, let me show you in the local window. Okay, so now you can see that we are working. It's all good. The k got the 655 value. So this is what the data types actually designed for. Now the question can come that if integer can hold this much of value, what is the need of declaring it as a byte, even if you're sure that it can never exceed 255? But still, what is the use of that? So basically it takes some space in your memory, and which eventually is responsible for the running of your program. If you declare the proper data types, now if you're sure that your program will never actually go beyond 255 value, then why to declare the integer? Because then your program will take less space, and your macro, when it is going to run, it is going to be very fast, right? So it is going to take care of the speed as well. Now how are you going to find all the things? Let me help you. I don't want to leave you in the middle. So in the Google, just write here that VBA data types. Okay, click here, you will get the thousands of links. You can see here all the links are there. So just click on any of the link. Let me click on this VBA data types. Let's just click on this link, and then I can just quickly walk you through that. So this is the table. You see that. So you have a boolean also. I just forgot to write the boolean. Boolean is a data type which we use when we want the result either true or false, right? No number, no text, true or false, right? So similarly, long is also used for the number. It's used for the whole numbers. It offers more space. It holds more values. I'll just take you to this screen. Single we use for the decimals. Floating numbers, this also used for the decimals, though this also covers your whole numbers. But single, if you're using a single, then that means it can hold a more value. For example, if you have a number called 44674 and you want to get this value used, so you can use the single. Using a long will make it a whole number, right? I'll just show you. I'll give you the example, but let's quickly check this. So boolean holds true or false. Integer holds 32,768 from positive to negative. Long holds this much of a long number. You can read it. I really don't want to read it. It's a very long number. So single also again is a big number. It holds more space. It holds 4 bytes, and at the same time it has a more capacity, right? It's a long number. Double, again you can see here that it is again used for the decimals. So double actually can be used for decimal and positive, and it really holds a very big number, right? We don't have a currency. I don't think so we use it in a VBA. Date, yes, we use it whenever you want to declare something in the form of the date. Then you have a string, you have an object, variant, and then that's it, right? User defined, I never used it. I don't think so it is there, but object variant is something which is there. Object means whenever you want to declare something. Let's say if you have seen the previous videos, yesterday also I uploaded a video on how to connect the PowerPoint with the Excel. If you're watching this video for the first time, if you are new to my channel, then go to this VBA connecting PowerPoint view and you would see here. So here we have actually what we have done. We connected Excel with the another object which is called your PowerPoint. So there we actually use this object data type. So it could be MS Word, it could be MS Access, it could be SQL Server, it could be your PowerPoint. Whenever you're going to deal with the external application, you declare it as an object, or it could also be a folder handling, right? So now let me quickly tell you what is the difference between the single and the double, and so we'll go here because this is also very important. So I was telling you that why we are actually, if I'm very much sure that my variable will never exceed this 255, then what is the need of declaring it as a byte? Why can't we declare it as an integer? You know, basically if you see here, you have here in the data type bytes used. So this basically tells you that if you're going to use this boolean or integer, they haven't written here byte, but the byte is also there. Let me just back. Let's just click on some another link. Maybe let's use the Microsoft link. Yeah, so here you can see that the byte is declared. So byte uses only one byte, the storage allocation, you know. So this makes your program very, very light. It's not going to keep going to keep the extra burden on your memory, right? So if you can manage to run your code with the byte when you know that the value never going to exceed after the 255, then use the byte. Don't use any other thing, right? So unnecessarily don't create so much of the space in your memory, right? So but if you're not sure, then obviously you can go for the higher. So this, if you look at the double, we don't have any decimal in the VBA. If you look at the double takes a huge space. It's 8 bytes, right? And similarly date also takes 8 bytes. We don't use char. This is, they have given these generic, actually the VBA, sorry, not the VBA, but the other, all the data types, I think almost, which can be used in other programming languages. Now if you see this long, in the long also we have 8 bytes, in the integer we have 4 bytes, right? Long integer can hold this much of value, but long can hold this much of value. So it depends, you know, your so in a nutshell, you can say that if the strength of your variable to hold the values is going to increase, definitely it is going to take a much space. It is going to take more space, you know, than the data type which is not going to hold that much of value. So we can say that byte data type is not going to hold that much of a space in your memory as, you know, long, or you can say that integer is going to take. So decide you need to decide, you need to make the best judgment of it. Now for example, in this example, if I just copy this, or maybe if I just okay, let me just copy it because I don't want to overwrite it. You can later on read it. So let's say I declare here I as integer. Okay, everything is integer. Now what I do is I declare here 50.7. okay, and now when we are going to run this program, you see what will happen. Integer is, you know that integer can hold up to 32,000, you know, near I can take you back there. Let's see what value it can hold. Integer, yeah, it can, it's actually it can hold up to this much of value, which is just give me a second. Yeah, basically that is what, you know, it is. That's what are actually integer, right? This integer can hold 32,000 to 768 value. So the moment let's say I'm going to write here a value called let me change this to 50,000. okay, now let us run this code. Okay, so let me on this local window as well. Now you can see here, the moment I run this code, it gives me the error overflow because integer can't hold this much of value. It is designed for only 32,000 around, you know, this much of value. So you will have to change the data type. So in that case, because I is holding 50,000, so I'll make it long, which can hold more value. So now when I run the program works nice. Right, again we will have a problem in the k, because I plus j will make it what? It is going to make it a value which is greater than 32,000, and you will again have the overflow error. So you need to change the I as well to long. Right, let me reset it and let us just run this, and now you can see that we got the value. Right, so this is how, you know, it depends what is your the variable is going to hold the value and how you are going to use it, which data type. So it is not something that you can choose by yourself. Be very wise. Also make sure that if something can be worked out using the data type which doesn't take that much of space, then don't unnecessarily put the burden on your VBA, because when the program is going to run, trust me, when the long macros run, it significantly increases the time. right? Your program may run, but then I don't think so that you're going to take the benefit out of it. For example, if you know that your I is never going to be greater than 255 and this j as well, then I don't think so you should declare it as a long. Now long can hold a huge number, so definitely the program will run, right? You can see here there is no error because it can accommodate these very small values. But then I would say you're going to put unnecessarily a lot of load on your memory. It's going to take 4 bytes, 6 bytes. You can go through that chart which I have just shown you. There are a lot of links available in the Google. So let's create it simple, right? So instead of using the long, then please keep it the byte. Now one more example I want to give you. What if you have a value called 5.6? Now when I run this, see what will happen. Now long and integers, they are used for the big numbers, definitely. Long can hold more values. It can hold basically a very high value if you compare it with the integer data type, but they are not meant to use for the decimal values. Now if you run this, you see what will happen. It will round off to 6 and your answer would come, but again it is going to come incorrect, right? So you have a 12, but it should have been in decimals. So in order to keep that accuracy, instead of using the long, you should use the single. Okay, now when I'm going to use the single, look at this. It comes as 5.6 and your answer is again going to come as 12 because k also is a sum of I and j, so you will have to declare this as single. So let's just run this quickly and there we go. So you got the 11.6. So that is what it actually matters, right? So single takes care of the decimals as well as the whole number also, right? You know that if I declare this as a single, it is fine because single can hold really a big number. If you look at this single, single can hold a big number, and I can also show you in my documents. I think there I have written it. Just one second. Okay, so that's my content, and here let me show you. Yeah, I got it from the Google actually. If I maximize it, if you look at this, here we have all the numbers here, right? So this I downloaded it from the net. It's not prepared by me at all. So now you can see here single can hold this value and double is again it's on the higher side. So double you use it when single is not going to hold, but at the same time storage size is also changing, it's increasing, right? So this double is going to take 8 bytes, single takes only 4 bytes, long takes 4 bytes again, integer takes only 2 bytes, byte takes only 1 byte. So use it wisely, keeping your speed also in mind, the macro speed, and at the same time the values, the range, right? Now you see here integer can hold 32,768 to this, long can really hold a big number. Now in the single is again much stronger than the long because single also holds whole number, at the same time it can also hold the decimals. For example, if in this code you saw that when I run this code, it worked for me. When I run this code, single is not going to give you any damage. For example, if I go to the local window, you know that j is single, but j, the value is not decimal, but that's fine. It can take the whole number as well. After all, it's a number, it is designed to absorb the numbers, but we generally use it for the decimals, right? So you will get the correct answer. But just in case if you have a huge decimal number like this, right, now when I'm going to run this, look at this, what will happen. Your single will not be able to give you the complete accuracy, 100% accuracy. I'm showing 676454, whereas this is a long decimal number, right? So if you need the highly precise number in decimals, you're dealing with, then instead of using the single, you use it the long. Long can give you more accuracy in terms of the decimal numbers. So when I'm going to run this, I'm sorry, not the long but the double, I beg your pardon. Long is always for the whole number, that's why it rounded off. Let me reset the code, and there we go. Look at this, now the entire number is captured. Okay, so similarly you have to make this also long. Reset, let's just go ahead and see. So it's not long, actually it's double, Now let me run this and you can have your result here, right? So double is, again, it gives you more accuracy than single. At the same time, it holds more value also. Okay, so this is how, I mean, you deal with the variables, and you can tell them that, so that various data types we use in the VBA, we use boolean, we use the byte, integer, long, double, we use the object, we use the variant, string. Now string is used for the text. If you have a text entry, then you use the variable data type as string. If you have a whole numbers, then you can use a byte, integer, long, or single, double also we can use, but preferably I would like to use the single and double only in the case when I'm going to deal with the decimal numbers. Single is, single can give you the decimal, it can return the decimal numbers, but if you have a huge decimal number which, let's say, have 7-8 values after the decimal point, like in this case it is, then instead of using the single, I'll use the double, because single will not be able to hold that much of a big decimal number. So what are the similarities between double, single, byte, integer and the long? So you can say that the only similarity is that they are all used for the numbers, right? So double, single can also be used for the whole numbers, not a problem, but unnecessarily they will take more space, which I will not like to use in case if it is not required, because that hampers the speed of my macro. So I'm going to take care of all these things while designing my tool, and I'm sure interviewer will definitely be impressed when you actually tell them all these things, right? Alright, so now let's go to the next question. Do you know variant data type and why we use it? I didn't touch this part because I wanted to cover this with this question. Now variant data type is also a data type which we declare it. You might have seen it in many of the codes where people generally write as variant. For example, here in this case, if I just copy this, you should not actually, I will not won't encourage you to use it. You should use it only when it is really required. It's a very good option, but again it puts a lot of, also takes a lot of space also in your computer's memory, and which eventually will impact your speed of the macro. But where we are going to use it now, variant, when we declare anything as a variant, so ultimately we are leaving everything on VBA to decide which data type we are supposed to choose. For example, if now I run this program, let me change the name of this macro. Now when you're going to run this program, let me on my this local window. Now look at this. In the previous examples, you saw that here either we were getting single or byte, or we were getting double, but this time it shows as variant and then /empty. So basically in the variant data type, now VBA will decide for us everything. We don't know anything. Sometimes it can be a string, sometimes it can be a number, we don't know, right? So now if you run this, you see that it created it double. Now it created this integer, it created again back to the double. So ultimately what is happening, VB is deciding everything for you, and that is what why we use this variant data type. So ultimately your answer is also coming correct, 11.67 645372, which you wanted, the complete accuracy. Now if you're going to change this to 5. Let's say 6, and now you're going to run this, look at this, again you will have the correct value. So it's keeping it in the double because it's a decimal number, so it's not going to show you the single data type because double is more stronger, as I told you. So ultimately your answer will come correct, you have the correct answer. So if you have a whole number, now when you're going to run this, you see that now there is no double, it's integer here, right? So it will automatically, VBA will decide that what data type is supposed to change. Now for example, if I'm going to make this Ajay, okay, let's say, and now I'm changing this to string, right? So here I'm going to make this hello, and here I'm going to say that k is equals to I plus j. Now you might be wondering that what would happen now, because you can't add Ajay and hello, right? They are not the numbers. When you're going to run the program, see what will happen. Automatically it is going to be changed to the string, because numbers, this variant will automatically take care of this thing. You don't have to declare here integer or specifically string. Your number comes in a text, so automatically this variant, the VBA, it changes that integer to string. Similarly, this is also string. So when you're going to actually add the strings, basically in VBA, especially in VBA, not in Excel, it works as AND operator. It is going to concatenate them. So you will have these two values joined and your answer would be Ajay hello, right? So basically for these purposes, when we are not sure what data type we can have a string, we can have a long decimal string, single. We want that the VBA should choose everything for us. We keep it as variant, right? So even if you don't declare it as here, only dim I, and some people try to declare the variables like this as well. So this is also one and the same thing. Dim I, you're not specifying anything, so that means it is going to be considered anything. That's a variant data type. But yes, remember guys, it is actually going to take a lot of space, right? You can see here 16 bytes, right? So it's going to take a lot of space, and I would suggest you to use it only when actually it is required. Alright, but it's a very good option, I must tell you. It's a very good option. It basically it eliminates that, you know, that the factor, uncertainty factor. You know, when you're not sure, anything can happen. Your variable can be used for anything in the future, so you use it. Okay. Now, what is the next question? What methods do you use if I ask you to hide the sheet? Any worksheet. Now this is a kind of an Excel question, but why I'm telling you this, because this also has this we can also do it, we can operate it from the VBA window, and if you're not a VBA person, then you know you would find it little difficult, but this is very simple. So it also has some links with the VBA window, so I'll tell you. Now one thing you already know, that how to hide the worksheet is simply right click and hide it. So let's say I'm going to hide this. This is hidden and I send this file to you, and now if you want to see it, you can see it, right? Right click back and you can say unhide, and this sheet will be available. But there is one more option. You can make this sheet very hidden. A user can't check unless he goes to the Visual Basic window. So how are you going to do that? See this. You select the sheet. Let's say I want to hide this sheet, sheet 9. Select the sheet and press F4, or go to the view and the property windows. Okay, it's all up to you what you want to do. And let me put it outside this. Just double click and it will come out. Now what we need to do is, but remember your selection has to be on that sheet first before you press F4 or go to the view and properties window. Now here in the visible part, which is available in this, you just make it very hidden, not hidden, very hidden. When you're going to make it very hidden, now when you come back, you see we have sheet 7, 8, there is no sheet 9, and then 10, 11, 12. So where is sheet 9? If you look at the VBA window, it still shows here, right? But it is not here. So if I right click here and I want to say unhide, unhide is not activated. So user would never come to know about this unless he or she knows that we can unhide it from the VBA window. So when you want it back, just select the sheet again, press F4, the property window would come, and click here and make it visible. Okay, so this is something which they can ask you. Now you can see that the sheet 9 is available. Okay, now let's go to the next question. I hope you enjoyed this. This is a very wonderful trick, actually, very tricky one actually. What is the difference between this workbook and ActiveWorkbook? Oh, one of my favorite questions, guys. This is one of my favorite questions, trust me. If you give me this correct answer, I may not even go further and ask you some more questions. I will directly select you, because this is very important. Now what is this workbook and ActiveWorkbook command? So basically, you see what happens. I'll show you. Let me just close everything right away. Let's just keep only Excel. Okay, now look at this. In this module, let me create one more module, and let's just create here any subroutine. And here now what I'm going to do is, let's say I'm going to say that dim z as, let's say, string. Okay, or maybe let's do one thing. Let me write this workbook dot activate. Okay, now, and let's just write active workbook dot activate. Okay, alright, or we can do one thing, we can make it interesting. Let's just get their name. Okay, alright, and obviously to get the name, this is the properties. We'll like to use the message box. Okay, message box, this workbook name, message box, this active workbook name actually. Alright, so let us run the code and let's see. You know that I'm on the PowerPoint.xlsm. So I'm gonna run this. You got the name of the file, which is perfect. You can see that this Excel workbook is PowerPoint.xlsm. Perfect. Now what about this active workbook.name? If I run this, you would see the same thing. Why? Because right now your workbook is only one, which is active. It's PowerPoint.xlm only. So that's why you see the same result, right? The moment I, let's say, on one more workbook, let me insert one more workbook. You can see here now it's book 1, right? Now I'm going to run this program again, right? Now you know that this program we have written in the PowerPoint.xlsm file. You can see this file name, but in my background now a new workbook is added, which is book 1. So if I run this program now from the PowerPoint module, PowerPoint.xlsm module, look at this. What do you think? What will you get? If you think that you will get book 1, then you are wrong. Why? Because this workbook.name means it will always fetch the information of your workbook where you have written this VBA code. And you know that you have written this VBA code in PowerPoint.xlsm. Let me on the Project Explorer. There we go. This is our PowerPoint. And this is where we are right now on the module 10, and it belongs to PowerPoint.xlsm and not the book 1. So when you're going to run this, you will still get the same name where you have written the code. But when you run this code, it is going to give you the active workbook name, which is active in your window at that point in time. It's very interesting and very important. You should know this concept. So this workbook always, no matter you're running the macro, you're getting open 7 workbooks, so you're compiling the data in one workbook, you're putting it somewhere, and at that point in time your selection, no matter whatever workbook you have selected, if you write the code this workbook.name or this workbook.activate, let's say, it will always select that workbook for you. Okay, so this is the difference between this workbook and active workbook. Active workbook basically gives you the access. It tells you about the properties of the workbook which is activated in your window at that point in time. And this workbook, no matter whatever workbook you have on, it always tells you about your workbook where you have written the VBA code, from where you are actually running this macro. I'm running this macro in the sub called YT, and its sub YT is a part of module 10, which is a part of this PowerPoint.xlm, right? So that's a very important question. You should actually understand it, right? So I guess we have covered all the questions, and it's a long video, so I hope you have enjoyed this session, and this will certainly help you in cracking the interview. I'll go ahead and upload this video in the playlist, the playlist which I shown you actually, how to crack the interviews, Excel VBA interviews. So if you haven't subscribed to my channel yet, please do subscribe and take the benefit of all those amazing 188 videos. The subscribe button would be available on the bottom right corner of your my video. Just click there, it will take you to my YouTube channel, and then you can click on the subscribe button there, right? So share your feedback with me, share your more doubts with me. I will definitely go ahead and upload the videos as I always do. So I'm signing off right now, and I'll see you soon with some more exciting stuff. Till then, you take care of yourself. Have a very, very happy learning.